Hi guys, it's Louise at Craft Geek Dioramas, and I thought I'd show you my latest commission piece that I've just finished. I'm sorry I haven't been around for a little while. We've moved house, and I had to set up my new workroom, and also we had to do the entire house as well, so it was a little bit time consuming and hard going, so unfortunately I was out of action for probably going on for 6-7 weeks, but I'm back now, and this piece I've just finished at the weekend, and I thought I would post a sort of review on here for you guys just to see how I did it. It's quite a lot to cover, so I'm going to try and may have to do it in a couple of videos, purely because my iPad seems to be restricting me to 5 or 6 minutes per video at the moment. I don't know why. So if we suddenly get cut off, I do apologise, and I will basically carry on in another part. So I'm not very good at all this high-tech stuff. Give me a craft knife and some paint, I'm fine, but give me anything to do with technology, I'm pretty useless. Okay, so let's get to it. So basically the commission piece was a Nostromo corridor with a pressure door at the end, which the pressure door wanted to be not fixed. That was the brief, and it was going to be for the new NECA figures that are coming out, the alien figures, I think in the summer, later in the summer. Excuse me. So that's basically was a brief, and we wanted it to be a corridor, a cube type corridor, as opposed to it being sort of like a base and a back. So that's what the design we came up with, and I had to have a little think about how I was going to construct it, because I knew that it wasn't going to have, it couldn't be modular. The door's modular by taking on and off with magnets, and I'll show you that a bit later, but the whole piece is actually fixed together, because trying to make this kind of shape modular, it just wouldn't work. So it is a solid piece, bar the door, and the piece on the top here isn't solid, but I'll show you that in a little bit. So yeah, so that was the brief, and basically how I started off was with a 12 by 12 square piece of blue styrofoam, and which is my usual stuff that I use, which is this stuff. Okay. And I used that for the main structure, most of the structure, to be honest, and I also used this white 6mm sort of, it's not polystyrene, it's like a polystyrofoam or something they call it here. It's a bit like the stuff that's in between the paper, like mount board, but it's actually a little bit more dense. So I started using that, and I used that on some of this, and yeah, it's a good material to use. I'm glad I found it, and I can get that online, the same place that I get my my blue stuff. So yeah, I started with a square 12 by 12 piece of blue, and what I did was I measured 8 centimetres from the corners and made it into a hexagon. The back piece is what I started on first, and then what I did is I had a look on obviously Google to look at some pressure door images, and this is the one that I made myself, and I just basically worked out all of my shapes that I was going to put on it. So that's basically how I did that, and then what I did was I obviously put that onto the 12 by 12 hexagon that I had, and then I cut the hole for the door. And I've had a lot of people ask me how I get super sharp cuts. Now, it's no way perfect, but it's pretty good. The best I'm probably going to get with a craft knife with the blue foam. And basically all I actually use is just snap knives, different sizes. These are the smallest I use, and I also use big ones too. Okay, and I go through them so much that I don't invest in spare blades and things like that. I get packs of these in different shops for £1 for 3, and I just basically, as soon as they're blunt, I throw them. I've tried snapping these cheap ones off, but they don't work, so I just, as soon as they're done, I throw them away. And probably a piece like this, I'd probably go through, I don't know, probably 2 packs, because there was a lot of cutting on this. And my secret to sharp cuts is just a super sharp knife. It's not rocket science. I use this type of knife on this kind of work, and as soon as I feel that it's tugging the foam, I throw it away. It goes. And basically when I cut my shape out, I go the same way all the way around. I never turn the piece around and go the opposite way to cut it. I keep going the same way, because as soon as you turn the piece around and start cutting in the opposite direction, that's when you start getting tags and things like that in the foam. So that's the secret. There isn't really a secret, it's just the way it works for me, and that's how I do it. So yeah, that's what I did on that piece. I hope we're not going to get cut off. I can see that we're coming up to 5.5 minutes, so if I do get cut off, I will carry on another part 2. Okay, so yeah, that was a back piece. So I did that first. That was my first thing I did. And then what I did was I obviously measured each angle that we had going up and around. And if you go onto my Facebook page, Craft Geek Dioramas, you will see update pictures of what I did, okay, of how I constructed it, because it's for me to try to explain it, I'll probably be here for 3 hours. But basically I started with my back piece, and then I started by cutting these 2 pieces first, and then I attached it with pins, veneer pins. Okay, I didn't glue it at this point, I just attached it with veneer pins, and then I done my next 2 pieces and I attached it and lined it up. Then I did my top 2, and I didn't do the top at that point, and I got around to that. And then what I did was I started painting the pieces before I attached it. So I started with my bottom 2, painted those, got them exactly as I wanted it. Then I pinned it, and I used, I didn't use a glue gun on this at all. I used this, okay, Scenic glue, strong glue. And I put that around the edge of the back, and then I pinned it, and I let it dry overnight. And this stuff here is like cement when it's dry. So that's what I used on that, because I wanted it to sit nicely and close to the foam. So that's what I did. So basically I done these 2, pinned it, and then I measured these, made sure it fitted, constructed, painted those parts, then I attached it to the back, and then we went up to the top pieces here, designed those, cut them, made sure they fit, painted them, then attached it. So basically when I got to there, I'd basically built a shell around, and then I was left with my top piece, which I hadn't sorted, and obviously the outer bit was what I'd done, and the legs is what I did last. So the roof, what I did, obviously we've got some working lights in here, which are we can turn on and off, okay. And I kind of wrapped my brain. I didn't want to put LED lights in that are like on a string, because it just, to me, it wouldn't look right in this piece. So I went for something a little bit different, and it might not be the best way of constructing it, but it works, and I think it looks fine. So I'm going to have to lift the iPad up to do that in a moment, but what I might do is do that in part 2. Okay, so yeah, so basically I did all of that, and then it was all constructed. And what I'll do is I'll finish the tutorial there, and then what I'll do in part 2, I'll go through the roof and the door and the sort of outside structure in that one. Okay, so I will see you in part 2.